Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today we are reviewing the TwoSun TS111. So this is a pretty aggressive Wharncliffe blade with this nice carbon fiber on one side and titanium on the other. Got a titanium pocket clip here. Doesn't look quite like a popsicle stick, but it's not doing much better. You know, take that for what you will. This backspacer, I am not 100% sure what this backspacer is made out of. It's definitely some form of metal. I don't know if they would have put titanium in there. I doubt it, and that's based on the price. I think based on the price, I think we're looking at probably aluminum, maybe stainless steel, but it feels relatively light, so. The flipping action is great. The action on a TwoSun, you're getting pretty darn good action out of TwoSun. I have zero complaints about this. Short of the detent is stupid strong. I've never complained about a strong detent before, but this thing feels a little obnoxiously strong. It doesn't need to be as strong as it is. Now, this isn't coming out, so that's good. But we got some nice jimping on the flipper tab here. The flipper tab's non-obtrusive, and it's comfortable. That's the good news. If this thing was uncomfortable plus the heavy detent, that would be not very cool. As I said, a strong, very aggressive Wharncliffe blade. D2, and this is like morning summer designs or something. I apologize if I'm offensive. I don't mean to be. Let's check the hardware on this guy. We have a T8 and everything else up here. Ooh, what? We have T8 body screws. The only thing that's T6 are the screws that hold the over travel stop and the ball detent here. So if you check this out, I don't know if you guys can hear that like I hear it, but one more time. It's a very, very strong detent. So the ergonomics of this knife are a little confounding for at least a larger hand. I like to hold my knives like this to where I kind of brace like that, right? Well, this has a slight, maybe it's not a swoop up, but it does feel like it's swooping up in the back. And that actually is a little uncomfortable. I made one hard cut with this today, and I wasn't a fan of the ergonomics. Now, you can choke up here. We do have a forward finger choil. It's about a half choil. But remember, the meat of your hand is resting against the blade when you do that. So if you make any false moves, you're slicing the crap out of your hand. As I said, D2 blade, carbon fiber, titanium. It's a TS4. I don't know the relevance of titanium grades, but take that for what you will. I have to preface most of this with, or all of this. I don't know why I would only do some. I have to preface all of this with, this is Jake's blade, and this is part of the blades that he sent me. So thank you so much, Jake, for sending this in and letting me check this out. As I said, the action on this guy, jeez. And I know the blade's a little bit heavier, but oh my goodness. It feels very, very smooth. If TwoSun did anything right with this knife, it is this. Now, before I get into any of the specs, let me just say, I did not like this knife. I used it, and I used it pretty well today. I used it quite a bit. And it gave me an overall opinion of it that I didn't like it. Now, this Wharncliffe blade style is absolutely extremely functional. The action on it's pretty darn good. You have carbon fiber scales and titanium scales, which I'm assuming is a titanium pocket clip. And I'm getting titanium off of a website, so if I'm wrong, correct me, because the only reason I might be wrong is this knife is $68. Like, what? That's crazy. For carbon fiber and titanium with D2, $68. That's impressive. So while I don't like this knife as much, for $68, you don't really, I mean, you're getting a lot of material for a little price, and you got to give them credit for that. All right, so let's get into some specs, guys. So the overall weight of the TwoSun TS111 is 3.5 ounces, which is pretty darn good because I have a feeling this blade length is longer than that, so you're getting more blade length to weight ratio there. If I can find my tape measure. I can read you guys the specs, by the way, in these, and I think it's just more fun to show you the specs, so I can shorten this up by quite a bit if I just read you specs, and that's anybody can read the specs. So this knife is coming in at 8¼ inches with an overall blade length of about 3¼ and a cutting edge of about 3¾ and a cutting edge with the forward finger choil at about in between 3½ and 3¼ We'll call it 3 5 or 3 2/5. Let's check the blade stock thickness on this little beast. Make sure we're zeroed out here. So the blade stock thickness is relatively thick, coming in at almost 150 thousandths. It's not crazy thick. Its hingers are coming in at like 155, a little bit more robust. And as I said before, I kind of appreciate that in knives, especially when you get down to an absolute freaking 15 thousandths behind the edge. Talk about slicey. Oh my goodness. Talk about slicey. Slicey-dicey. Yeah. Guys, this thing's ultra slicey for an ultra thick blade stock, and it has a flat grind. Let's see here if I can tell. Yeah, that's a flat grind. So it's got a pretty aggressive flat grind going on there. Great action. It's very fun to fidget with, short of the fact that that detent is ridiculous. All right, let's get you guys some size comparisons here. Here's the Rat Model 1 and the Rat Model 2. As you can see, this is coming in right at about the same length as the Rat Model 1. And everybody who knows the Rat Model 1 is a fairly large knife. To me, it's kind of like your perfect size knife. I love larger knives, but you know, to some, I know we prefer the PM3 or the PM2. I know those are preferences. As you can see, it's longer than both, but a much more... Ooh, that's what I didn't do with the size. I didn't check the handle width and nothing. I'll do that next. Here is your feldspar and your mini feldspar. As you can see, longer than both, barely longer than the large feldspar, much longer than the mini. And last but not least, our Civivi sandwich. For those of us that like sandwiches. Look at that beautiful, beautiful Damascus on King Civivi, the dogma without a bullet. Oh, it's so good. And then we have the Civivi Odium. As you can see, this knife is longer than both. Now to go back, double back on the specs, because Tyler failed. We failed there. I never claimed to be perfect. Leave me alone. All right. So the handle thickness is coming in at almost 1/2 inch, little less. Most knives are coming in at 1/2 inch, so that's pretty darn good. And the overall height at its highest point is coming in at 1.12 inches, which is also very darn good considering the PM2 is coming in at 160 and the Manix 2 is coming in at 1.74 inches. So that's pretty good. So what are my overall thoughts on this knife? So far, let's start with the bad. The pocket clip isn't bad. The pocket clip is just meh. I love the fact that these have We're starting with the bad. Pocket clip is meh. The strong detent is okay, but I just wish it wasn't as strong as it was. So the blade centering is a little off, but I have found that I've been fidgeting with this, trying to really get a good feel for this knife today. And because the blade center, I've been fidgeting with it, it does have a tendency to loosen up quite a bit, and I don't want to take apart all of Jake's knives. I might take it apart and throw in a little Loctite. But once I tighten it up to where there's no blade play, it's dead center. It's got a little bit of clicking, not bad. I can fix that, but you know. So it has decent tolerances on that side. So the overall fit and finish of this TwoSun is pretty cool. Oh, I didn't mention, we got a lanyard post. Right. Let's see here. Focus. Lanyard post. Right there. So this does not have... Let's take a look on the inside. So there's no liners. So one side is straight carbon fiber and the other side is straight titanium. No weight relieving whatsoever. Not a huge deal. This knife is already extremely light. Back to what I don't like. Pocket clips, meh. Detent's too strong. My biggest dislike about this knife is there's something about butts on knives like this that come out. It's like a bony ass, right? It just, yeah, it just swoops out and it's uncomfortable to the larger hands. I don't have huge hands, but I have large, extra large hands, narrow but long fingers. And it presses against right here, and it's, I don't know if they call that the pommel or whatever, but that's not comfortable when you're making tough cuts. I can say that. And I don't mean to rag on Jake's knife. I kind of feel bad that somebody sent him in, and I'm like, I don't like that. 100% disclosure, I did not like this knife until I looked up the price. For $68, you get this very nice Wharncliffe that starts out very thick and robust and goes down to a very narrow tip, very narrow edge. The tip is, let's put it up against the PM2, pretty robust, right? So you got a pretty robust tip going on there. This is a robust working knife. If the ergonomics were a little bit better, I would love this thing. What I do love about it is the materials you're getting. You're getting a D2 with, again, I love the blade shape. I love Wharncliffes, and this is super aggressive looking. I love the titanium. I love the carbon fiber for $68. Good Lord. And this flipper tab is ridiculously comfortable to flip. Once again, short of the detent. It's a very comfortable flipper tab. It's the perfect amount of jimping plus rounded edges. We got a little bit of chamfering going around. Not a lot. It's slightly contoured. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know if that's something that I can really show on camera. It's slightly contoured with the carbon fiber. Not much, but it does have a slight contour to it. So that is the TwoSun TS111. It is I am not impressed with the knife until I found out the price point. I assumed this knife was coming in at like $110, and that's what pissed me off about using it. I'm like, man, this thing's, I don't like this for that price. When I saw the price of $68, guys, for what you're getting, if you want that high-end material feel with a low amount of money, I mean, this fits the bill, and it is a working knife. I mean, in my opinion, you can choke up, and actually the choke up position is a little bit more comfortable, but you can choke up. This Wharncliffe style blade is just fantastic. Absolutely amazing. That's one of the main winners of this, plus you got the carbon fiber and titanium. T8s all around except for the detent and the over travel stop. And yeah, so this is the TwoSun TS111. And can I recommend this knife? If you want that high quality feel for the budget price, yes. If you're looking for an ergonomic beast, no, it's not an ergonomic beast, but it is relatively fidgety. And the detent, you know, maybe it'll break in a little over time. I don't know how much this was used prior to him sending it to me, but you know, that's not a huge deal in the overall grand scheme of things. So for $68, I can definitely recommend this if this is what you're looking for materials for the price. If you're looking for, again, the ergonomic beast, you know, obviously, you know, you compare it to like the PM3 and you're like, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, so this is the TwoSun TS111. TwoSun TS111. Take two. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Tyler. This has been Everyday EDC. Stay sharp, stay safe, and please, I'm putting this in some of my videos for a short period of time, so deal with it. But my YouTube analytics is showing that 71% of you are not subscribers that watch this channel. Please consider subscribing. As we all know, I've put out in the past that once I get to 500 subscribers, I will be giving away a ProTech Newport. And I have plenty of other knives. Jake donated a couple to the channel. I have some that I gotta let go. I will never announce my knife giveaways short of benchmark giveaways like the 500. But, you know, the more subscribers we have, the larger our community grows. And, you know, it's just it's just me plugging the friggin' subscribers. So fucking subscribe if you guys are watching and you enjoy the videos. My name is Tyler. Have a great day.